Welcome to the Department of Tax Administration, DTA's Food and Beverage Tax Business Workshop presentation. The Food and Beverage Tax was approved in May 2025 by the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors. With this presentation for businesses, we will provide information on how the tax will be administered. In this presentation, we will provide an overview of the tax administrative details, the delinquency process, the difference in monthly versus seasonal filings, definitions that are applicable to the presentation, taxable versus non-taxable items, examples, exemptions, special cases, the seller's discount, an online filing system preview, and our contact information. Throughout the presentation, restaurants and food establishments refer to any place where food is prepared for service to the public on or off the premises. This includes operations preparing or storing food for catering services and mobile food services. Fairfax County relies heavily on real estate taxes, with residential properties comprising over 75% of the real estate assessment base. To diversify revenue sources and reduce dependence on real estate taxes, the board authorized the implementation of the Food and Beverage Tax. Each 1% in the Food and Beverage Tax is estimated to generate $35 million annually. In addition, an estimated 34% of food and beverage tax revenue would come from non-residents such as visitors and commuters. As you can see, neighboring jurisdictions already have a food and beverage or meals tax in place ranging from 4% to 6%. In fact, currently Loudoun County is the only locality near Fairfax that has not implemented the food and beverage tax. However, many towns within Loudoun County do have it. In total, about 70% of all localities in Virginia have implemented a meals tax or a food and beverage tax. The food and beverage tax applies to prepared food and beverages sold as meals by restaurants, caterers, and other similar food establishments. It goes into effect on January 1, 2026, with an initial rate set at 4%. Businesses that pay on time will qualify for a seller's discount. Please note that the 4% Fairfax County food and beverage tax rate is different from the 6% Virginia sales and use tax. The food and beverage tax will be collected from customers and held in trust by restaurants and other food establishments, which will then remit the tax directly to Fairfax County. Returns and tax payments for a given month are due by the 20th of the following month. This means restaurants and other food establishments that must start collecting the tax beginning January 1, 2026, must remit the tax collected by February 20th, 2026, using the county's online system to file and pay, which we will preview later in the presentation. Restaurants and other food establishments that fail to file on time may be subject to a best judgment or statutory assessment. Late payments incur a 10% penalty and are also subject to interest at 5% per annum. Outstanding balances may be referred to a third-party collection agency and may incur an additional 20% fee. Most restaurants and other food establishments are required to file monthly. Unless a business is a seasonal filer, returns must be filed monthly even if no taxes are collected. Seasonal filers, like pool concessions or festival vendors, only file for their operating months. Filing is required even if no tax is due. When filing, all businesses will need to provide their start date, and seasonal filers will also need to provide their operational end date. The following terms will be used throughout the presentation. Restaurants and food establishments include any places who prepare and serve food to the public either on or off premises. This includes caterers and mobile food operators. A meal includes food and beverages sold for immediate consumption regardless of the location where the meal is consumed. Snack foods are items like chips or candy sold separately and not as part of a meal. The food and beverage tax applies to prepared food, hot or cold meals at restaurants and deli counters, desserts, smoothies, and drinks served with meals. Some examples of food establishments subject to the tax include bakeries, bars, concession stands, food trucks, ice cream shops, and sporting venues. If an establishment sells food and beverages, then the establishment is likely subject to the tax. Items are taxable if they are ready-to-eat food and beverages sold as a meal and available for immediate consumption. This includes smoothies, desserts, salad bars, and prepackaged single-serve salads. Items are not taxable if they are unprepared or prepackaged items not meant for immediate consumption. This includes beverages and snacks not sold with meals and grocery staples like produce, fruits, etc. Some examples to help distinguish between taxable and non-taxable items. A freshly prepared or made-to-order smoothie from a smoothie shop is taxable. However, a prepackaged smoothie from the grocery store is not. Items from a salad bar are taxable. However, prepackaged salad kits and bags of mixed greens from the grocery store are not. Ice cream sundaes from a restaurant or ice cream shop are taxable. However, groceries are not. Some examples to help distinguish between taxable and non-taxable items. A freshly prepared or made-to-order smoothie from a smoothie shop is taxable. However, a prepackaged smoothie from the grocery store is not. Items from a salad bar are taxable. However, prepackaged salad kits and bags of mixed greens from the grocery store are not. Ice cream sundaes from a restaurant or ice cream shop are taxable. However, groceries are not. Many food establishments in the county are considered restaurants, short order places, and mobile food sellers. These include sit-down and take-out restaurants, snack bars, health clubs, and food trucks. Common items subject to the tax include entrees, side dishes, desserts, sandwiches, burgers, pizzas, buffets, and beverages and snacks sold with meals. Items not subject to the tax include beverages and snack foods sold separately from meals. Additional examples to help distinguish between taxable and non-taxable transactions. A steak entree from a restaurant is taxable. However, unprepared meat is not. Soda sold with a burger is taxable. However, soda sold alone or from the grocery store is not. Scooped ice cream in a cone is taxable. However, ice cream bought in prepackaged containers or from the grocery store is not. While groceries are not subject to the tax, many food products sold at grocery and convenience store deli counters are subject to the tax. Common items subject to the tax include hot deli foods, made-to-order sandwiches, and fried chicken. Common items not subject to the tax include cold or prepackaged items, bakery items, whole cooked chickens, snacks, and beverages sold separately. Some more real-world examples. Coffee sold with a sandwich is taxable. However, a bag of coffee beans and coffee sold separately is not. Chips sold with a sandwich are taxable. However, prepackaged chips and other snack foods sold alone are not. A turkey leg or an individual piece of cooked poultry is taxable. However, a whole cooked chicken is not. Please note that this slide refers to bakeries that are not in grocery stores. Common items subject to the tax include sandwiches, bagels, and slices of pie. Common items not subject to the tax include loaves of bread or drinks sold separately. There are certain exceptions to the Fairfax County Food and Beverage Tax. Exemptions include any food or beverage sold through vending machines, vendors earning under $2,500 annually at farmers markets. This is total annual income, not just the income made in Fairfax County. Some SNAP-eligible food, more commonly known as food stamp-eligible food, nonprofits, churches, hospitals, and child care centers under specific conditions. Most exceptions apply to specific vendors or situations. The full list of exemptions can be found on our website at the end of this presentation. Special case. Gratuity is not taxable if it is voluntary or discretionary. Mandatory gratuity is only taxable if it exceeds 20% of the sale. In the case of coupons, the tax applies to the amount actually paid after the discount, not the pre-discount price. Even if a meal is being delivered, it is still subject to the tax. When it comes to delivery, the tax is based on where the food was prepared, not where it's delivered. Restaurants and other food establishments are responsible for collecting and remitting the tax to Fairfax County, even if a third-party service like Uber Eats or DoorDash makes the delivery. For on-time filers, a seller's discount is available to help offset the seller's cost of collecting and remitting the tax. A 3% discount on the tax collected is available for timely payment through the end of 2027. Starting in 2028, this discount will be adjusted to 1%. The discount is only based on the amount of the Fairfax County Food and Beverage Tax collected, not Virginia's sales and use tax. Let's walk through an example using a $75 pasta dinner. The 4% Fairfax County Food and Beverage Tax adds $3. The 6% Virginia Sales and Use Tax adds another $4.50. To calculate the seller's discount, take 3% of the $3 collected for the county tax. That's 9 cents. While the discount may seem small per meal, it can add up significantly over time as sales increase. Again, only the food and beverage tax will be submitted directly to Fairfax County, not the Virginia Sales and Use Tax. Now we will preview the online filing process for an existing business account. If you have filed for the Business, Professional, and Occupational License, BPOL, the filing process is very similar. You will start by entering your business account number and Federal Employer Identification, FEIN, number and/or the Social Security number associated with the business. Next, enter the contact information for the business's primary point of contact. If the business officer differs from the main contact, be sure to enter their information as well. The Fairfax County Department of Tax Administration may follow up with the listed contact if additional details are needed to process the application. Then you will see a screen with your account information, the expected returns, and payments received. To file for a given month, you will click File Now. Next, you will see the filing details screen for the selected month. Enter the total food and beverage receipts and the non-taxable receipts if applicable. The taxes due, seller's discount, late payment penalty, interest fields, and total remittance due fields will auto-calculate. Some fields, like penalties and interest, will only apply if the return is late. Thanks for your attention. Registration begins January 1, 2026. Detailed instructions for registering and filing will be sent out in December 2025 and can be found on the Fairfax County Department of Tax Administration's Business Tax website. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. On our website, you'll find helpful resources including FAQs, information brochures, and contact information. Compliance matters where you suspect that the tax is being evaded. Please contact DTA Business Compliance at the email address listed.